Is Soul the worst Pixar movie ever? Maybe. Let's dive into it. As you know, Soul just hit the theaters, and all the Pixar and Disney fans are out there watching the film, and there are lots and lots and lots of reviews saying this movie is a game changer. Personally, I don't see that. What I see is a movie that tried to deal with very serious topics but ended up simplifying everything. So let's dive into the plot. You have Joe Gardner, a middle-aged music teacher at an elementary school in New York City, and immediately, like when the movie started, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. The music was great, sloppy jazz all the way. The kids were great, all very different from each other. Like you could really see each kid's personality. Joe is also a great piano player, so he's searching for the right opportunity. Tried many times to be a musician, paid musician, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, and he's getting a bit tired of trying. But then suddenly an old student of his calls him and tells him that they are missing a piano player in the band, the jazz band, in which the ex-student plays. And Joe immediately gets super happy, and he's focused to do what he does best. Unfortunately, that day he kind of dies. Like he doesn't completely die, but he stays like in a coma. And for me, that was the moment when the movie started to go down. When he dies, his soul, like this inside out little man, is going to be sent to the great beyond, the afterlife. But he doesn't want to go because he thinks that this is the day where his life is going to change. So he tries to get back, but he can't. And he ends up in this place where God, Jerry, is creating new souls and he's sending them to babies. Just like when a baby is born, they send a soul. And this is so abstract. Like everything about this is abstract. The colors, the backgrounds, the characters, everything. So when Joe gets there, he pretends to be a mentor, which is an older soul who helps a new soul develop a personality, and he ends up with a character named 22. And 22 is a little inside out type of creature, and Joe tells her that if he can get her a passport to Earth, Joe would go instead of her, and she accepts it. So then they go to a even more abstract place, which is like a place where your soul goes when you are focused doing something. In that place they found this really cool hippie guy who is dancing with one of those big signs that they use in America outside the restaurants. And that guy helps them to open a portal to Earth. Cool. The problem is, when Joe goes to Earth, 22 also goes to Earth, and Joe ends up inside of a cat, and 22 ends up inside of Joe. Joe discovers that life is much more beautiful if you just stop and listen to other people and watch the rain or whatever. And 22 eventually develops some interest, and now she wants to go to Earth. So when they are going to perform the switch of bodies, 22 refuses because she wants to keep living on Earth. So she runs away, Joe goes after her, then they end up in the great beyond, and Joe gets back to his body eventually. So he goes, he plays the gig with his ex-students band, they love him, but then when he finishes the gig, he feels like something is missing. So he gets back home, plays a lovely jazz music on piano, thinks about all the memories, all the things he did in his life. In this part I thought, well, okay, now he's going to maybe sacrifice himself to bring 22 back. And yes, I mean, kinda. He goes into that other plane where your soul is up there. He finds 22. 22 has become like a lost soul, which is like a dark, big soul. He fights her, and then he gives her his passport to Earth. He's willing to die so that she can have a life. 22 goes to planet Earth, and Joe is prepared to go to the great beyond once for all and die. And I was satisfied with that ending. It would have impact and meaning, but he didn't die. My final thoughts are, this movie is not for kids. The animation is great, but the great beyond, I really didn't enjoy that. The characters are okay, but there could have been a bit more development. When Joe is the cat and 22 is Joe, they go to a barber shop and they talk with Taz, the barber shop owner, but I mean, they don't establish really. It's fun, it's cool to see moments like that, but there is no development. So overall, I think this movie is a 6 out of 10 at best, but that's only my opinion. I know lots of you loved this movie, really loved this movie, so you know, maybe I'll have to see it again and try to see it in a different perspective. See you next time, everyone.